We're taking another look at the 2025 recruiting class, and we're going to shine a spotlight on 5-star wide receiver Vernell Brown, who signed with the Florida Gators. We're going to look at his highlights. We're going to look at his 24/7 Sports player profile page. But before we begin, you need to click that subscribe button right now. We're going hot and heavy, looking at these players from the 2025 recruiting class every single day, so you can get a good look at what your players look like before they start making plays for your team. Click that button. Stop missing out. We're going to start off with this 24/7 Sports player profile page. If you're here for just the highlights, fast forward a few minutes, you'll get there. But we're looking at a 5-star in the composite, 4-star in the rankings. They got him listed at 5'11", 170 pounds. These are usually dated, so if you got a newer height and weight, please drop that in the comments below. We're just here to learn about these players together. But what I like to look at is the offers. He's got 42 offers, and I got a grade with the amount of offers. 20 good, 30 great, pushing around 40 or more, elite. 42 offers is elite. You will not catch too many players with 40 or more offers. That means college football was after him. And then on top of that, you want to look at the type of schools. But we see it here. Florida, Florida State, Miami, Ohio State, Alabama. All those schools are fighting for top wide receivers, and they do not fight for bad wide receivers. From that concept, we're looking at a good wide receiver prospect. These guys have time, resources, and money on the line when it comes to looking at these prospects. They can't afford to waste it on jabronis. Also listed as a 5-star in the composite, 4-star in the rankings, the wide receiver 6 and the wide receiver 8. Everything's checking out, especially if you look at things objectively. And coming down here, played in the Under Armour All-American game, and they're saying he's a dynamic athlete with elite short area quickness, and he's very explosive. Has impacted the game in all 3 phases at the prep level and impressed at times as a defensive back, but the ceiling appears to be his highest in the slot. Quick, speed, he's going to be a dynamic player, eats on in breaking routes, and has created separation by sinking his hips and then quickly driving towards soft spots in the coverage. Likely never going to have a high success rate in true contested catch situation given his size, but plucks the ball with confidence. So he's got a my ball mentality, good short area quickness, good route running to create separation. A guy that's very explosive, so he's going to get you yards after the catch as well. That's also saying that we're probably going to see some good highlights when it comes to contested catches. You got to look at the tape objectively, because you do not know how these players are going to develop, and you do not know what this guy has seen and how he interpreted it. So we're going to look at the tape objectively. You just let us know what you think in the comments below. We got a track guy, which is not surprising considering what that was said in the scouting report. His father is Vernell Brown, DB at Florida. And looking at this, signed with Florida. Rutgers was trying to get in there. Florida State, going over to On 3. Florida, Ohio State, Miami, Florida State. 4-star in the industry rankings. 4-star with everybody else. Wide receiver 10 range, pretty much, when you sum it up with all the rankings here, which is fine, but we got 42 offers on top of that. Everything's checking out. I don't need you to be wide receiver 1, 3, 40. If you look good on tape, some of the metrics check out, then we're going to be objective with you and consider you good, and we're going to see what happens when you get there, because a lot changes. We got 5-star wide receivers right now in the transfer portal from last year's class. That being said, star ratings matter to a point, rankings matter to the points, the market matters to a point, but we still got to cash out, but everything's pointing good. Tennessee after him. Tennessee's been building pretty good lately, but let's take a look at the highlights. Let's see what he's working with right now. We got 7 minutes, 39 seconds of highlights. Let me know if you like them in the comments below. Hit that subscribe button right now so we can watch these prospects all off season long, because this is what we do here. Boom. I'm seeing explosiveness, contact balance. He's looking to cut in. He's thinking about it. There we go. And we're rolling. Good feet. Good feet. Up top. I will say another thing when you say given his size. I see a frame that's... They got him listed at like 170 right now. I see a frame that's very traditional. And I don't really agree that when you say size and contested catches considering frame, I think if you're trying to compare him to like a Mike Evans or a Drake London, I understand that fortitude. But what about like a Josh Downs who's good at contested catches? Look at it. Look at it. He glides. He glides. He's fast. He's fast. And he didn't hit the afterburners here, but you can tell when players don't hit the afterburners when they're fast because they know how fast to be, because they know how much to put in to the engine to run past guys. Hard thing to compute if you don't watch tape like this all the time. But imagine, like, you know how much exact effort to do to get a task done. Why exert too much when you know you can just do X, Y, Z to get it done and still get your touchdown? There we go. Ball skills. Ball skills. This is why you got to look at the recruiting sites objectively and think outside the box. He just showed ball skills there, timing, and hands. Very explosive. Very explosive. Good feet. We're moving. Now we're looking to cut. We're looking to cut. So what that tells me, we have good innate abilities to read momentum around us, read the field, cut it the other way. See the release here. Okay. So we tagged the midline, stacked, shook them, got it downfield. I like the shoulder shake too. Watching more release now. Another midline movement. Then broke it back towards the sideline. Looking good. He's very shifty. He's very shifty. He's very calculated with how he sells his routes. Like when he sells his routes, the best way to describe it is he's going to keep you guessing. Then he's going to hit you with that sell real quick, then bust it off. Where a lot of guys, they're trying to work on the nuance and they may sell a little earlier and like it'll work at the high school level, but it's not concealed too much, where if you're an experienced DB, you just take that little step back and you just stay with him. Look at that. He conceals it good, and it's very subtle. Subtle sells is good. Boom. Solid wide receiver. He's got good concentration. Outside shade with the DB. Let's see how we attack. Nope. Bam. Gets it easy. Easy money for him. Getting it. Let's see what we got here. Back there. I bet we house it. We better house it. You do not put like a 20-yard gain in the highlights, but dude. Cut it. There we go. Okay. Solid, explosive on the outside. I don't understand why they were about his frame. That's actually bothering me now. When I look at this, I see downfield. See that downfield? They saw these highlights. I hope they did. I hope they didn't look at those numbers and just made the assumption and just like fluffed it together. Like, I get it. I get it if you looked at this as interpretation, like, oh, he ain't going to be Mike Evans. But I also look at it as interpretation, like I'm seeing like Josh Downs in the league. I'm seeing other wide receivers of that contested. They can bring it in. There's more than just size and boxing out. It's also timing, confidence, hands, aggressiveness, my ball mentality, which is kind of what I said with the other words, but it's like a term I like to use. You come back to the ball, you're sticky, it's your ball, you're going to get it no matter what. That's actually very important. And they mentioned slot. I can see him being on the outside a lot too. I see him being used everywhere. I think when you look at the highest size of these wide receivers at the high school level, you also got to think, like, there's a weight room here at this college. They're going to grow. You're going to hit that 18-year-old mark, 19, 20. That's when you grow the most. I mean, he could be, like, pushing 200 pounds by the time he graduates. And we're over here evaluating him, saying he can't, or will struggle with contested catch. Here we go again. What are we doing with the scouting reports, guys? What are we doing here? What are we doing here? This is why we said we're going to objectively look at this. So, what this tells me is he can read the ball downfield, time and things good, make his jump appropriately, get some air, have sticky hands, be confident with it. This is what I was talking about in the scouting report. We were like, okay, that's nice. We're going to objectively look at this. That's what. That's all they had to do is watch this. Now, the context, what I said earlier, if you're looking at like a Mike Evans type-esque wide receiver, that's okay. But you really got to deliver better context with that. And now that I think about it, when they talk about creating separation, like, are they just looking at the grades and everything else and just assuming that? Because he does, but, like, the way it was worded, like, he's doing it at different levels on the field, like downfield in different ways, how he's breaking off his routes, attacking the midline. It's more nuanced than what it was kind of... Like, he's more nuanced than advertised to me. This is a very good wide receiver here. Very explosive, good feet. Look at that. Bam. Cuts it in. There it is. This is a wide receiver that's going to Florida that matches well with the other Florida recruits they brought in here recent years. Speed, explosive, gets downfield, nuanced, attacks midline, sells the route, creates the separation, good hands downfield, good at contested catches, especially for his frame, can time it well, strong hands, has a mind ball mentality, can play on the outside and inside, you can move him around. Jack of all trades wide receiver that's very explosive. He's dynamic, a playmaker. He's going to fit well here at Florida. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on the way out. Well, thank you for watching. Catch you on the next video.